How I got into surveying is I took drafting in high school. It was hand drafting, and then we had some experience with AutoCAD. I think it was Release 12. And I did not go straight to college. 2 weeks after I graduated, I think I was still sleeping, and a friend of mine called me and said that a company was looking for drafters. I went and applied and got the job. And I didn't know what surveying was. It was a surveying and mapping company. And 17, 18 years later, here I am. I fell in love with it. How I would explain our profession to someone that doesn't have any real understanding of what it is, I would probably say we cross so many different professional, there's so many different applications for what we do. And anything that's built, roads, buildings, anything, we have a hand in that. Property, every piece of property in the United States, except for parts of Alaska, are somebody owns them, and they change hands from time to time, and they've been surveyed at some point. We have a hand in that. And then we use technology. There's a science to it. There's some theoretical thought that goes into it. I guess I would just say that it's a very diverse profession. It seems very narrow from the outside looking in, but when you're on the inside looking out, we do so many things that you don't know until you practice. Surveying benefits the public through a lot of different ways. From a strictly boundary or property aspect, our primary role is to be an independent third party. We have our opinions are, and that's what they are. They're opinions, and property is really the only true form of wealth. Money is basically, it means nothing unless the government that has printed it can support it. It's a way we change goods. But property, land ownership, and it always has been, is a true form of wealth. So it's very important that people know where their boundaries are. This is my property. So we provide the locations of those boundaries and as an independent and an expert with testimony. We also make sure that the grade is correct. So if you're building a road or whatever you're building, that when a storm comes, you don't flood. There's elevations. The topography is important because otherwise, when something is built or it can cause immense damage and even loss of life. There's numerous ways that we're important to the public. And what I like to see is that surveyors join the larger geospatial profession. I think it's a natural progression for us, and so historically, everybody's been planting their flags. We're surveyors. We do GIS, LiDAR, drones, and I don't think that any one person can master all of these different disciplines because it is such a technological and scientific. It's a very diverse profession now. So we, as young surveyors, need to acknowledge the fact that you don't need to be only practice one of these disciplines. You need to have an understanding of all of them. It doesn't mean that you don't you do all of that, but you need to understand it, and you need to have a network of professionals that you can lean on to work with, if that's the best way to execute a project. And I think that as far as education goes, a degree, a geospatial degree, or at least, so you take a GIS program and you give them experience with surveying, and surveying gets experience with GIS, you get experience with LiDAR and photogrammetry. All of these technologies are tools for what we do, and it's important that a modern surveyor understand those tools and have access to them.